On this day, the world got to know the name Rachel Corrie. The young American activist was trying to stop Israeli forces from demolishing Palestinian homes when an 80,000-pound Israeli bulldozer crushed her to death. The news was a shock to mainstream media, which rarely reported on the killings of Palestinians. It was very unusual for a young American to be killed under Israeli brutality. So what was Corrie doing in Palestine? Corrie was an advocate of the Palestinian cause. She attended the Evergreen State College, where she joined the Olympia Movement for Justice and Peace, and later the International Solidarity Movement, or the ISM. The ISM attracts people from across the world to take part in their non-violent protests against the existence of the Israeli military in the West Bank. Rachel Corrie decided to contribute to one of the ISM activities, so she went to Rafah in the Gaza Strip in January 2003 and underwent 2 days of training on non-violent resistance. When Corrie was in the Gaza Strip, she witnessed the dire situations the Palestinians lived in under the occupation and how innocent Palestinians were killed by Israel on a daily basis. Luckily, Corrie's documentation of Israeli crimes was recorded in her letters and emails she sent back home to her family. In her emails, Corrie described how the people of Gaza are not able to travel, calling the Israeli unjust restrictions genocide against Palestinians and blaming the US government for it. Such horrific death could have been lamented, condemned, and questioned by many countries had it occurred in any other place where Israeli occupation did not exist. But since it took place in occupied Palestine, Israel had to justify the murder by simply saying that the operator did not see her. She was not crushed by a bulldozer. She had ignored warning signs to leave the area, were among the claims Israel presented to downplay the murder it committed. Corrie's final autopsy report was not released to the public. However, Human Rights Watch said a copy was provided to them with a translation supplied by the US Department of State. In the report, it was concluded that her death was caused by pressure on the chest, with fractures of the ribs and vertebra of the dorsal spinal column and scapulus, and tear wounds in the right lung with hemorrhaging of the pleural cavities. A death so painful, so tragic, so heartbreaking, and still, it fell on the deaf ears of the international community. Rachel Corrie's family filed a suit against the Israeli government after her death. In 2012, an Israeli court ruled that Corrie's death was the result of an accident that she brought upon herself. The family appealed the ruling in 2014 before the Israeli Supreme Court, which rejected the appeal in 2015. Corrie was only 23 years old when she was crushed to death. In one of her emails, Corrie stated that when she would leave Palestine, she would have nightmares and she would feel guilty for not being there anymore. But what if Israel had not murdered her and she was still alive today? Would she report the Israeli crimes against Palestinians from behind the screen or live, on the ground along with the Palestinian people, risking her death at every single moment by the same occupation that actually murdered her?